The Holocaust was a bloody persecution and murdered about 6 million Jews by the Nazi government. The Nazis, who came to power in Germany in January 1933, believed that the Jews were inferior and a threat to the German community. Word spread about the rise of Hitler and the Nazis. As Hitler rose, fear spread and families began to panic and question their lives. They heard of Nazis going into Jewish homes and stealing their possessions. They heard of Nazis beating Jews in the streets and being tortured. Children were as afraid of what the Holocaust had to bring as anyone else. Most children were taken out of school because they were Jewish and faced a lot of discrimination. Also, some kids would try to find work to help their families. Soon, their parents or other family members wouldn't allow them to go outside because it was too dangerous. Sadly, some kids were kicked to the streets because their family could no longer provide for them. Parents were starting to see other families being taken from their homes and put into ghettos or concentration camps. These places were just a death sentence, and parents said that they would do anything to keep their children alive and safe. Other families sent their children into hiding because they didn't want to get killed. Going into hiding was dangerous because you were at risk of being caught at any time. Once families made the tough decision to go into hiding, they were at risk. Many parents sent their children into hiding with Christian families, and they were putting their children at risk because at any moment that Christian family could turn that kid in for a reward. Most children could pass for a non-Jew, but some were not as lucky. Kids would bleach their hair and change their names. Children living as a non-Jew had to obtain false identity papers, but they were very difficult because Nazi and German officers were required to check them frequently. Children often didn't stay at the same place for long, so throughout the course of the war, they moved from place to place. While in hiding, the children often suffered from no connection to the outside world and experienced boredom and fear. In the countryside, hidden children lived in places like barns, chicken coops, and forest huts. If they were to make any suspicious noise or events that could attract neighbors, it could result in being turned in. Even during bombing and other dangerous activities, children weren't allowed to get out and find shelter. Therefore, they would be risking being caught. After the war ended in 1945, people went looking for what was left of their family. Parents went to convents, foster homes, and orphanages in search of their children. Many children were sent to live in orphanages after finding out their parents had died. Sadly, for many infants who were left hiding had no way of finding their biological parents. As time passed, parents were still looking for their family, but unfortunately for some, they couldn't find any.